If you've got a full-time job, a family, and about 20 minutes of free brain space a day, most side hustle advice is completely useless. Nobody's telling a knackered parent to start a YouTube channel or build a business on the side. So today, we're looking at a batch of genuinely low-effort ways to make real money in the UK, pulled from someone who says they've banked over £25,000 using 6 different methods over 5 years. Before we get into it, a quick gut check. None of these are passive income in the Instagram guru sense. They all take some setup, some small amount of ongoing attention, and a bit of common sense. But compared to freelancing, dropshipping, or running a business, the time commitment here is genuinely tiny. Let's break down each one, what it actually pays, and whether it's worth your limited time. First up, bank account switching, sometimes called bank scalping. Banks in the UK are locked in a war to steal customers from each other, because once you're settled with a bank, you basically never leave. So they bribe new customers with cash just to open an account. The trick is, you don't need to touch your main account at all. There's no legal cap on how many bank accounts you can hold, so you open a fresh one, purely to grab the switching bonus, deposit whatever small amount is required, and leave your actual day-to-day banking untouched. As an example, First Direct has offered around £170 just for opening an account and paying in £1,000 within the first month. Stack a few of these offers together across different banks, and you're realistically looking at over £1,000 a year for maybe 4 hours of admin total. That's an excellent return per hour, though it does slow down over time as you run out of banks you haven't already switched to. Second on the list is an app most people in the UK have never heard of, Roamler. Big brands like Pepsi or Peroni pay ordinary people to pop into shops and pubs to check that products are actually stocked, take a photo, or even buy a single item as proof. The appeal here is that you're not going out of your way. You just do a task while you're already at the shop, at the pub, or walking past a store. Reports of earnings suggest a few £100s a year is realistic for maybe an hour a week of these 5 to 15-minute micro-tasks folded into errands you're already running. It's not going to replace a wage, but it's basically found money for tasks that take less time than scrolling your phone at a bus stop. The catch is you typically need an invite or referral to get access to the app in the first place. Third, renting out your parking space. If you live anywhere near a city center, a train station, a stadium, or a university, unused driveway space can be worth real money to commuters who are sick of paying extortionate parking fees. Sites exist purely to match people with spare space to renters nearby. And depending on location, you might get anywhere from £20 a month in a small town, up to well over £100 a month near a university or busy hub. All in, that could realistically add up to a few £100s a year for barely any ongoing effort once it's listed. Fourth is flipping items on Facebook Marketplace. Think of it as a never-ending digital car boot sale, where plenty of sellers have no idea what their stuff is actually worth. The strategy is simple in theory. Buy underpriced items, then resell them for more, either on Marketplace itself or on eBay. You can also upcycle listings that have terrible photos or descriptions, snap up items people are giving away for free during house moves, and flip them for genuine profit. Furniture and bulky items tend to be safer bets than clothing or trainers, where fakes are common. Done consistently, this could be worth over £1,000 a year for just a few minutes of browsing several times a week. Fifth is house hacking, essentially becoming a landlord without buying a second property. If you've got a spare room, sites built for finding lodgers let you set your own price and terms. Average rates hover around £600 a month for a lodger in the UK, and even after extra utility costs, you could be pocketing a genuinely serious sum each year, potentially thousands, for the time it takes to write a listing and vet a housemate. Obviously, this only works if you're comfortable sharing your home, so it's less universal than the others. But the financial upside is the biggest on this list by far. And finally, the one the original creator calls their favorite, matched betting. This isn't gambling in the traditional sense. You're not predicting outcomes or relying on luck. You're systematically exploiting free bet promotions that bookmakers throw at new and existing customers, covering all possible outcomes so you profit regardless of who wins the match. The claim here is striking: £17,000 in 18 months, working roughly 3 to 5 hours a week, which works out to around £40 an hour. That's an impressive number, but there's a big asterisk. Bookmakers eventually catch on and ban, or gub, accounts that keep taking advantage of these offers. So unlike the other 5 hustles, this one has a shelf life and will slowly dry up as you burn through the available bookmakers. So stacking all 6 together, you get a mix of one-off bonuses, ongoing tiny tasks, passive rental income, and a higher effort but higher reward betting strategy. On paper, that adds up to the sort of numbers most people would associate with a part-time job, without actually needing a part-time job's worth of hours. Now for the honest verdict. Skill-wise, this is about as low a bar as side hustles get. No special talent required, just organization, a bit of research, and the discipline to follow steps for things like matched betting or bank switching. Time-wise, most of these genuinely fit around a busy life, often in 10 to 30-minute chunks rather than dedicated shifts. Short-term, within a few weeks, the easy wins are bank switching and marketplace flipping, quick cash with minimal learning curve. Longer-term, over months and years, bank offers and matched betting naturally taper off as opportunities dry up or accounts get banned. While parking space rental, Roamler tasks, and especially house hacking can keep paying out indefinitely, provided you actually have a spare room or driveway to offer. Realistically, don't expect this to fund a lifestyle change, but as a low-friction way to add a few £1,000s a year on autopilot, it's one of the more genuinely practical lists out there.